What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Young Philip, and I'm back with another video for y'all today. And before we get started with today's video, I would like for y'all to click that like button down below, giving it thumbs up, and make sure y'all click that subscribe button. But make sure y'all click that bell so y'all can be notified and don't miss any of my videos. Excuse me. Today's video will be simply titled "The Many Beefs of 50 Cent." So, without further ado, let's begin. The Many Beefs of 50 Cent. I want to start this one off with 50 Cent versus Ja Rule. This beef originated around 1999 when 50 Cent was starting to blow up. There's like two different stories of the beef. Let's see, 50 Cent story was Ja Rule had got robbed for his chain, and 50 was cool with the nigga that robbed Ja Rule for his chain, and that's how they started the beef. And then you got Ja Rule's side of the story. But during the beef of 50 Cent versus Ja Rule, at the early stage of the beef, 50 released a diss track called Your Life's on the Line, which aimed directly at Ja Rule. But after that diss track was released, two of the rappers would get into a brawl in Atlanta. Tony Yayo stated that 50 punches him in the eye, and then they fought until it got broken up. And then in March 2000, they would fight each other once again, but at the Hit Factory recording studio in Manhattan. But this time, somebody pulls out a knife. Ja Rule crew paid 50 a visit, and all of a sudden, 50 gets stabbed in the altercation. And then, 2 months later, in May of 2000, 50 Cent was shot 9 times outside of his grandmother's house in Queens. While he was recovering, Ja Rule was on the rise. But that one didn't even last that long. By the time 50 recovered, he founded the group G Unit with Lloyd Banks and Tony Yayo, and they made a bunch of mixtapes, and their buzz got bigger and bigger. And then 2003, 50 Cent dropped his full debut album, Get Rich or Die Trying, in 2003. And on that album, he made a song called Back Down where he sends some shots aiming towards Ja Rule. And then the two would trade diss tracks back and forth. They tried to squash the beef in 2011, but then a few years later, their beef would be reignited again, and they're still beefing. That is one of the longest beefs of all time. The next beef of 50 Cent I want to talk about that really don't get talked about too much was his beef with Bang'em Smurf and Domination. When 50 Cent was coming up, Bang'em Smurf and Domination were really close to 50. But then things changed after he blew up. Bang'em Smurf would be arrested for reckless endangerment or possession of a firearm, which would get him 11 months in prison. And Bang'em Smurf bail was posted at like 9 G's or something like that. But Domination, who acted as Bang'em Smurf homie or mouthpiece, he decided to come to Bang'em Smurf defense and go against 50 as well. Like, they sent some shots at each other back and forth. 50 had gotten a mixtape and dissed Bang'em Smurf on a song that was like 48 seconds long. And then Bang'em Smurf dropped What's Beef. And then they also dropped another song called Can't Teach Me How to Stunt. Then at the Summer Jam of 2004, Bang'em Smurf and Domination showed up in attendance. And then here we go. This when things get a little. Actually, no. I think that's about it. I could just skip this one and then just go straight into another beef that need to be talked about. One of the most talked about beefs of all time is 50 Cent in the Game. The Game career had started around 2002, 2003. After being signed to Aftermath Records, he ended up being put into the group G Unit by Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine to make Game's buzz get real big. Let's see. After the debut album of The Game, which was the documentary, 50 Cent album got pushed back to be released in March of 2005. Game's debut album did real good. I think it went 5 times platinum, something like that, or 4 times platinum. Let me know in the comments down below. But it would cause tension between the two, alongside of 50 having problems with Game, not taking parts in the beefs that 50 had with Fat Joe, Nas, and Jadakiss. The Game said he got respect for all three of them, and he's cool with all three of them. And then tension would somewhat come to light around the video shoot of Hate or Love It. On the video shoot of Hate or Love It, like they couldn't even be in the same room while filming. And then a few weeks later in New York, both rappers were on the radio going against each other. Then 50 felt disrespected by Game when he felt he didn't get enough credit for the songwriting process in the album, because he was on the singles How We Do, Hate or Love It, and West Side Story, even though West Side Story was the first single on the album. Well, let's see. Then 50 just had enough and just said Game was out of G Unit. He kicked him out live on radio. And Game gathered up his people and they had an old shootout at the radio station. But it started with an argument, and then the security had pulled out the guns and shot one of Game's entourage in the leg. Somehow they squashed the beef. But then 50 went in this Game on the mixtape. And then Game responded with 300 bars of running, which would end up being heard on his 2005 mixtape, You Know What It Is, Volume 3. That, by the way, which is a fire-ass mixtape, it had a bunch of songs aiming shots at G Unit or any motherfucker that Game had beef with at that time. But, what I was about to say next. Then 50 responded with a diss track called Still Rich, Not Rich, Still Lying. Something like that. Where he states that Game is not a blood and said he was never in a coma, all this and that. But another thing in this beef, I'll never forget, Game had destroyed G Unit with the phrase G Unite. Like he came up with the phrase called G Unite, and then it was like, wow, he did a real good job. It was quite like a reminder of Ice Cube versus NWA, how Ice Cube dismantled NWA. And I don't need nobody trying to bash me in the comments because I said that shit. You heard me? Because at least Game is strong enough to take out a bunch of niggas from New York with that diss track 300 bars. That was like one of the diss songs where it was like 15 minutes long. They managed to squash their beef in 2016. But somehow last year, 2022, the beef had got reignited after Game had made some comments during his interview with Drink Champs, how that that Kanye did more than Dr. Dre ever did in his career, and stated that he was better than Eminem. And I don't know why people feel offended by the comment. It's like, let him speak his mind. And I don't know why people be trying to call him corny and shit. Like, The ones that be calling him corny, y'all must be corny your damn selves. But anyway, it's hard to figure out who won this beef. But to me, I say Game because he went at 50 and G Unit on his own. Like he dismantled them with the 300 bars. Hell, nobody even talk about the diss track My Bitch or 120 bars or the 100 bars of Funeral. Those are my favorite diss tracks by the Game towards G Unit. Alongside of, let's see, what was another diss track where he aimed shots at 50? I think that's probably it. But all in all, I'm gonna just say that Game won with in the beef with 50. And then another beef I want to talk about from 50 is the beef with Rick Ross. I'm pretty sure this was like around the years of 2008, 2009. Like this is when ever 50 and Rick Ross had got to that serious beef, and it led to a lot of things going on. During this beef, 50 exposed Rick Ross for living a fake drug lord persona, and he was really a correctional officer in the late 90s. And then also releasing a little tapey tape with one of Rick Ross's baby mothers. And she also confessed that he was a correctional officer. Funny story, it's like funny surprise that nobody ever blackballed him or boycotted Rick Ross. It's like did do something to his little street cred, something like that. But somehow everybody continued to fuck with Rick Ross. And that's crazy. But also, during the beef, 50 Cent bodied him with the diss tracks. But on Rick Ross' end, he couldn't do the same shit that 50 did. Like, with Rick Ross diss tracks, it'll go hard, but only on mute. So, technically, the winner of the Rick Ross 50 Cent beef is, of course, 50. He caught the dub. He got the dub. Last but not least, the beef between him and Jadakiss. I don't know how this beef has started, but I'm pretty sure this is revolving around Jadakiss doing work with Ja Rule on the song New York, and 50 took shots at him on the song Piggy Bank, and it was caused Jadakiss to respond with a savage diss track. I forgot what was it called. Nah, it's called Checkmate. There we go, Checkmate. The song was called Checkmate, where he completely bodies the hell out of 50 Cent on that song, like with ferocious bars and lyrical content. But it's like that beef don't get talked about, and it should be mentioned more often. I'd like to say thank y'all for tuning in to today's video. Make sure y'all leave a comment down below of anybody that 50 Cent had beef with and I left out. Just let me know in the comments that I leave anybody out. And also, make sure y'all click that subscribe button, but make sure y'all click that bell so y'all can be notified and don't miss any of my videos. And don't forget to follow me on my social media at YoungPhilip_00. That's my Instagram. Don't forget to add me on my Snapchat at Ryan36105. And don't forget to add me on my TikTok at YoungPhilip00. With that being said, I'm out.